there, welcome back. That's another week of shows. Today I'm going to talk about Badlands, Terrence Malick's first film. This is the first in a series of videos about Terrence Malick films. So that I'll be doing. I promised it for a while, but first started planning it over the summer and it was too warm and I just didn't really want to do a Malick season then. Also wanted to use PSVR so I could see it in a cinematic thing where you see it in cinema mode where you could see it as if you're watching this big screen. And I couldn't do it in the summer because it was too warm, so I put it off and now finally the weather's got bad enough I can actually do it without sweating too much, so I finally got to watch this. So this is the first in the series. I hope you enjoy the series, but this is like first of many. You know, what's interesting about Badlands isn't just that it's the first Malick film, it's very untypical of Malick. There's certain things that repeat, like there's a voiceover, Malick loves a voiceover. There's a sense of, it does take place in, you know, America of the 50s and Texas and Montana and all these kind of backcountry areas that don't really get covered much in American film. It's also an area where Malick covers a lot in his films. So there's that kind of stuff repeats from various films, but it takes place with protagonists that are criminals basically. Malick tends to do more normal characters generally, people who are within society and watching them sort of try to break out of society or what the restrictions of society are on them. What you get in this one is them breaking out to extreme levels, but here they've gone so far extreme. But Malick doesn't tend to do that as much as he goes on. It's like they're people rejecting society trying to move on from it, but they tend to still be trapped within society. In this one, they break free for a while. Even though one of the characters ends up coming back, the other one doesn't. So, to explain what the plot is, basically, Martin Sheen plays this guy called Kit Crothers, who's a, you know, he just doesn't fit in anywhere. He starts the film working as a dustman, just garbage collector. Which he doesn't like doing. He talks too much. He never shuts up. But it's very little to say actually. It's just like he's repeating stuff he's heard over his life, but he doesn't put meaning to it. He's just someone who likes the sound of his own voice, but he's trying to find his meaning through his life as he talks. And so it's all about him, it's all about self, it's all about look at me, look at me, look at me. There's a very needy quality to it. He meets up with his basic character who is the narrator, who is 15. She's very naive, she doesn't really have a clue what's going on half the time, and he falls in love with her, she falls in love with him. Because her father disapproves because she's only 15, he's this guy who's like 10 years, Martin Sheen's character's like 10 years older than her, and he has no place in his life, he's not going anywhere in his life, he's just going from job to job and not making any impression of anybody. Her father disapproves of him, so she says no, you can't see him. Of course she sees him anyway, they end up having sex and they end up falling in love, and Martin Sheen kills the father, who's played by Warren Oates in a terrific small performance, very understated, and they go on the run from authorities, and as they are slowly hunted, or carefully hunted down, Martin Sheen's character becomes more and more violent. He becomes a total psycho as he goes on, and as you go on you start to realise just how little he actually knows. Now that's the basic plot. What's really great about the film is it's about character, but it's also about location. The characters are people who just have no sense of reality. They're stuck in their own heads. I mean, Martin Sheen's character talks, never shuts up, but he has no sense of context for what he's saying. He's just like, he's connected to society by what he knows about the world, but he doesn't understand how any of it works. He's just like, he states cliches as if he's been clever. He states everything as if he's an authority, but he's desperately needing some of that sense of authority. He wants people to respect him, but he doesn't really give much to get the respect. He's just this kind of glib, weird guy who just can't fit in anywhere. He doesn't really like working, so even if he gets a job, he'll leave it early. Then he wonders why he's fired. Like he doesn't quite get how people work. They're just things to him. He's very distant from them. So this SpaceX plays a girl she's in her own head. She's reading romantic stuff, and she thinks what she's got with Kit is romantic. She doesn't realise till way too late that he's a total sociopath. All he's really attracted to his imagery and his sense of his own romance, a sense of his own feeling of he needs destiny, he needs to be a big man in society. Without any work in, he has to be somebody people will respect. And he's pretty much a prototype for these kind of psycho killers you get nowadays, you know, who shoot up schools and things, who do all this, all these like religious ideals to what they're, not religious, idealistic ideals to what they represent, either the left or the right or whatever. He's kind of like that. He's like that kind of sociopath who has read some of things, but he doesn't quite understand. He doesn't understand the context. He's just using them for his own psychopathic needs, his own view of himself society that hasn't been well thought through. He doesn't really care if he kills anybody. When he kills them, it's almost like they just drop and they don't matter anymore. He doesn't have a sense of them being individual people who are suffering, who are friends or family who suffer. They're just people who he wants to swat out of the way. He just doesn't really care about them. And since the SpaceX character doesn't get it either, she just gets the idea of she's in love with this romantic figure who she thinks is good looking, who she has sex with, but she doesn't understand sex either. She just says, "That it?" She doesn't get it. She talks in a very flat, emotionless voice while speaking all these romantic ideals. But she doesn't get the meaning of it. She doesn't get the story she's in. She's in this story that doesn't quite live up to her expectations because it's full of disappointments she doesn't understand. Like, she falls in love with this guy, her dad gets in the way. He kills her dad, but it's not like a big over the top sequence. It's just a very thing where you just shoot someone and he just falls down dead and that's it, and she's disconnected. Then Martin Sheen burns her old house down. She's just disconnected. She just goes with him and she doesn't understand why she's going with him. She sets up a house with him in the woods with a big tree house, and she thinks it's romantic, but she also is very distant. She's kind of almost an echo of a person. She doesn't quite get where she is and what she's doing. She's just this, you know, both of them are almost like toy figures who are moving through her life and they're not quite getting the life. They're just not understanding it. But what's great about it is it's almost like it shows you how people go through their lives, you know, rich or poor, you know, smart or not so smart. Like this idea of people going through their lives and not quite connecting with it. It's like, how well do you connect with your life? Do you connect your life and are fully into it, or do you just wander through your life and only understand half of it and don't quite get what you're about? Are you, how sociopathic, how more engaged are you in life and other people? And because watching them go through their lives, it shows you how people just see each other and see each other for what they need from the other person, what they can get from the other person, and how little some people appreciate other people. And you see this in real life a lot, where people don't quite seem to understand that others have a reason for being beyond them. But you go into any kind of, you know, into any street, you see people like them. If you watch any bit of social media, you see it. Some people just don't get other people. And this is like one of the earliest examples of this film, showing these kind of cycles at large and what they are. And, you know, so Martin Sheen kills these policemen, he kills other people, and he doesn't get that he's killed them, he's killed other people. He just killed people he says were bad guys and who were out to get him, and they were he calls them bounty hunters when they were actually cops who were just doing their job, you know. And he was the one who already killed someone. He was already should be arrested. He's like, the villain. He romanticises himself to be the hero, the kind of James Dean figure, the guy who's out for the newspaper to write stories about him. Like, anything's good as long as it reflects back on him and makes him feel romantic, makes him feel something. He's almost like an echo of a person. He's trying to feel something. He doesn't get anything. He talks and talks and talks, but he doesn't get anything. He still can't quite break through to actually understand what people are. And Malick's great at showing that repeatedly without hammering your head over with the idea. It's just much more like you're seeing his reactions to himself, his reactions to her, to other people, and you just see it in the way he reacts to them. And how he says he doesn't get certain things, and he just says how he doesn't get it, and he tries to make it out as if it's normal not to get certain things, as if he's not the problem, and it's becomes this sort of sense of these two human beings like echoing each other's romance back to each other, so that they're basically enabling each other, but they're basically like children. They don't understand life. They just don't get life at all, and they're just going through the wastelands of America, causing more and more damage, like overgrown children who can't quite connect to life. They can't quite connect to anything. And of course Malick, being Malick, shows lots of natures in nature. He shows people and he shows animals in nature. He shows people against landscapes. He shows people basically being part of nature, but they're almost like rebelling against their own little tribes. Like, they're like they're trying to, these two characters try to go beyond what they think the limitations are. He just shows nature doesn't care. It just like it floats through life, and the Manchin character especially is almost like this comical figure who doesn't get it and is rebelling against it. Stupidly can't quite get the way things actually are, and because of what Malick is doing and the way he just shoots everything, like the way a house can be against a landscape, can be beautiful, but it also can just show like small lives going about their existence, and it's fine. There's no condescension to people going through their lives. It's pretty much this is your life, and these people are living it, and they're having a nice time, and they're doing their best to get through it. And it's just whole part of nature, the way the world works. And these two aberrations are just causing havoc through it. And they don't quite get nature, they don't quite get themselves, their lives, and they're just trying to force themselves in something to try and make people pay attention to them. And no matter what they do, Malick keeps to his style, and they become more and more comical, more and more clueless. And the more and more Spacek talks through the voiceover, the more you realise how little she actually knows about her own experience, her own life. She's not even living through this experience. Everyone else try to work out what she actually thinks, and she's not really thinking anything of that's worthy, which is the irony that you get in a lot of instances in life where people try to say, what were these people thinking? Why were they doing this? And it's like, well, they weren't really thinking at all. They weren't really. Their motivation wasn't really worth your time. It's just the damage they caused that's the problem. So this is like a wonderful film. It's very intriguing. It's very beautiful. There's all these incidents as well where like Martin Sheen, like his character, goes and meets up with either strangers or people he knows, and the people he knows all know him too well to know that they all know he's trouble, and they always know any dealings with him will end badly for anybody. So it becomes this very kind of, on the surface everything's funny and it's not light, but there's also a sense of humour to the interaction, the way things are going. There's always an undertone that's going to go really violent really quick. And Malick shoots the violence very matter of fact. He doesn't make it like a big moment, he just makes it, this is what violence is. Bang bang, that's it. And life is fleeting, and and these poor people are dead, and Sheen doesn't get it. The Sheen character does not get the consequences. So it's a beautiful, wonderful film. The cinema is gorgeous throughout. The acting's terrific. Martin Sheen and Spacek are amazing. Warren Oates as the father is terrific, very moving, because he understands the world and the way the world works, the way these two characters don't. So as soon as he's out of the picture, you know, it's a kind of tragedy because that's the end of real life, and it's just they're always going to fantasyland at that point, even in their heads, and it causes more and more. Once he dies, there's more and more deaths. So whoever comes into contact with these two are going to be good chance they're going to be dead, and basically because Sheen took a sign to this girl, all hell breaks loose. But it's a wonderful film. It's a great debut. Seeing it on a big screen makes you really appreciate the place of people and landscapes, how landscape can tell you so much about character. Especially the bigger the screen, the more you can see how indistinct they are from the surroundings. It's how it's not that they're small, it's just they're part of the landscape and they're fighting against it. It creates this tension throughout the film that's always there, and it drives the film forward. They always look awkward in their environments, they always feel like there's an awkwardness. And Malick cuts very brutally. He's always cutting to the point to, as soon as the scene's over, as soon as the scene's got its point, it moves to the next scene. And sometimes you have fade outs and things like that, and he's always like getting to the next point, next point, next point. There's always a sense of life moving on, kind of a bit out of control, but there's this kind of calmness of nature within this escalating situation. So it feels like it's fast paced but also very measured. So again, it creates a sense of absurdity of the whole situation, of how self-important these people are taking their lives and how meaningless their actual motivations and how meaningless their actual thoughts are. But they're always having thoughts that are based on thoughts that every human being has, and how silly and meaningless a lot of our thoughts are if we take out the murder, but it's still a beautiful existence itself, because there's always these great shots of sunsets and always this sense of people within nature, of the way the world works without the violence. And it is, despite the violence, is a really great hymn to humanity as well, but how beautiful people can be within nature if you don't have psychos like the Martin Sheen character around. So that's a wonderful film. It's amazing. I'd highly recommend seeing it. It's one of the great debuts, and it's been underseen for a long time, so just see it. Just try and see it as soon as possible. It's just so wonderful. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back soon with another one. Okay, bye.